Let's see what they've got over at Madruga Bakery. They always have some fresh bread. Free webinar, Move Miami, Mortgage Man office hours.
Yes, sir. Join us December 13th at 7 p.m. We're going to be going over how to buy in this market, and more importantly, how you can have and buy with confidence, knowing that next year is going to probably be the best year for you to purchase.
If there's any topics you want us to cover, let us know below. I want to open up the floor. I don't want to just be talking this whole time, and that's why we want to do it as a webinar as opposed to a podcast. A lot of people don't prepare. As we're getting into 2024, I want people to be prepared.
What are some of the pain points that people have had in buying in these last couple of years?
Rates have done their thing, so it's made what was once a little itty-bitty payment really balloon up and make people think about it.
One of the biggest pitfalls that we see right now is that people think that interest rates are not manageable or monthly payments are not manageable. The problem is that a lot of people aren't talking about the strategy behind being able to capture something with a lower rate or a lower monthly payment.
It actually puts buyers in a position to negotiate. I'm not buying the prettiest thing in Miami when interest rates are high.
Yep.
You're setting yourself up for disaster, but someone to guide you throughout the process is important.
Price points have gone up. There's a big resiliency in the Miami market.
Once the rates start dropping, I think it's going to be out of control.
I think so. What's your take on opportunities for multifamily properties for buyers, people who are looking to get into some sort of investment, but also capitalize on a primary residence?
You can now use the income from an additional dwelling unit if there was a legal efficiency in Miami, or a quad. You could take the income from the other three and apply it towards what you need to put down, and the down payment is now just 5%.
Like FHA loans have allowed us to be able in a position to do that for a long time. I think the mindset has always been like, well, FHA can't put us into a property either because loan limits don't work or because, property sellers are not going to be in a position to accept an offer with an FHA loan.
You know how many brokers in Miami go, That's it. That FHA offer might be the one that gives you a third and a fourth offer to be able to negotiate with a conventional or whoever it is to get in.
You're dealing with and coddling and nurturing clients who might be scared in a market like we are in. If you have a team and a partnership that understands the market locally, you're a native, the ins and outs, the pockets, where you should buy, where you shouldn't buy.
You need to know where to look. Hey, you have a client that's looking for here. Well, it's all about knowing who to call and who's in what area. Speed is important in this business, so if your broker doesn't answer his calls, same thing with your lender.
100%.
Hey, how do I know if so-and-so is going to qualify for this deal? Hey, the financing's kind of tricky. If you don't get a quick answer, you're gone. What do you think about the ruling that just came down over in Kansas,
where sellers felt like people were being taken advantage of?
One jurisdiction's verdict, this giant verdict, right? $1 billion verdict. I don't think it's going to change much of how I do business because I feel like my clients are all solid. They all respect and they're happy for the work I did. If you have that understanding and says, hey, we're dating now. For the life of this deal, you and I are dating. You're not working with any other buyer's agent. We're exclusive. You and I. You don't like me, tell me and get rid of me.
Exactly.
But don't start cheating on me during the middle of, hey, we're looking at 20 houses and all of a sudden you go and up and leave because, so-and-so found this over here. One of my first buy-side deals was one of my best friends' wife, they got married, and I think we saw about 40 houses. Just got to spend more time with my friend,
When you're new to this business, how you kind of position yourself in that transaction, it always comes down to who you're working with. It really does. Yeah. How has your being an attorney fused with your business as a real estate agent?
I've been practicing about 13 years now and brokering deals for about 8. Seeing cases through trial gives you a very unique perspective on negotiating. Reading people is more important, I think, in what we do as agents and knowing how to talk to people. Putting sentence together. You have a huge edge in Miami.
The obvious things that I hate about this market, right? Interest rates being high, property appreciation being so high, which leads to affordability being so low. Being in a position to give advice, being able to advise, being able to counsel, being able to give customer service. A client can intangibly say, you know what, I like working with this person because this person has given me what no one else has, or they've given me enough for me to not even want to look anywhere else.
I started the content creation to help people who weren't from here. My idea behind that was like, let me help people, give them my perspective on Miami. And I see you educating realtors to be able to service their clients.
For the office hours, what we want to do is we want to start from a position of, where as a buyer should you be starting? A lot of people will say you start at the pre-approval. A lot of people will say, well, you should start looking at properties and see what price points are out there before?
No. Setting yourself up for failure.
Are there other subjects that we want to go over when it comes to the buyer side of it?
Knowing what you can afford, because it sets you up for success. Do you still want to have a budget to travel? Do you want to still save for X? It's a step in the process to let you know where you can afford.
That's it.
Yeah, I want to live on the beach on the water. I'm like, okay, well, what's the budget? Coming to the mortgage man and figuring out what's there is important in the process. They could be the most motivated person in the world and ready to go, but if their financials aren't ready to go, what can you do?
A lot of people will think about the pre-approval and think that it's a commitment to go out and go buy a property.
Absolutely.
And that's the wrong way to look at
Sure.
it. Statistically, more people plan for a vacation than they do planning for a home, which is wild. You're about to make a commitment for the next 30 years, at least on paper.
Yeah.
It ends up being, I want to pay X, but I know X is not going to get me what I want.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is not taking into consideration what the actual realization is of what you can qualify for. Okay, this is a personal invitation to join us December 13th at 7 p.m.
There's going to be a link below. You click on that link, that's how you're going to register. It's a free webinar. We're going to have a Q&A session. So any questions you have for us about how to buy your first property, how to invest in Miami, how to prepare to sell your home, we're going to be there to answer those questions.
Definitely want to tune in, so please join us.